Today we're going to be taking a look at the Carlson BRx7 GNSS receiver and doing an accuracy test of the tilt compensator inside of this receiver. Now the Carlson BRx7 is one of the more affordable GNSS receivers on the market, but also includes some of the higher end features found in more expensive receivers like a built-in IMU that can do tilt compensation. Carlson has also been around for 40 years and is known for its wide range of hardware and software solutions for surveyors, and today I'm going to put their GNSS receiver to the test to see how much value you can get from Carlson's BRx7. We'll simply take the receiver and just twist it onto this pole and then raise the pole up to 2 meters. And then I can simply press and hold the power button and the receiver is on. Now to collect the data, we're going to be using the Carlson RT4 controller. Now this is just a robust tablet that runs Windows 10, and for data collection, we're going to be using Carlson SurvPC. Now to start, I'm going to create a new job, so I will just call this BRx7 test, okay? And now it's going to ask me about my coordinate systems and units. I'm in the beautiful state of Michigan. Well, it's not so beautiful today. It's kind of gloomy and cold. But here in the cold and gloomy state of Michigan, we use international feet. I'm going to keep all the rest of the settings here normally, including the degrees, minutes, seconds for the angles and latitudes and longitudes. Our zero azimuth is north, and our data projection is going to be NAD 83 Michigan South Zone. I'll go ahead and check here and create the job. Okay, great. All right, now let's go ahead and connect our BRx7. I'm going to come up to equipment, and I'm going to select GPS rover. If this is your first time loading up Carlson SurvPC, you're going to want to come over to RTK, and under RTK you're going to want to set where your corrections are going to be going to your receiver. Now since I'm only using a singular GNSS receiver, I'm going to be utilizing the CORS network through the Entrip system in order to connect to a base station to receive corrections for my position on my rover. This is all highlighted and detailed in previous videos, so check out my GNSS playlist if you want to learn more about how GNSS receivers and GPS works as it relates to surveying. For the internet source, I'm going to be using the data collector. That's because the data collector is connected to my phone's hotspot, as you can see here. So I'm feeding the internet into the controller, and the controller is connecting to the Entrip system, which then sends the corrections to the rover. You can also add a data SIM card to the back of the R24 data collector by removing the battery compartment on the back side, or to the BRx7 itself by removing the left battery compartment on the bottom of the receiver. For network, as I've mentioned, this is going to be Entrip, and next to the network option, there is a little settings button, so I'm going to go ahead and select that, and this basically allows me to input account information to connect to the local CORS network. So I named this one MDOT because the Michigan Department of Transportation manages the CORS network here in Michigan. I have my IP address, the port number, and then the username and password for my connection. Again, I've covered how to connect to CORS networks in the past, so if you need to refresh your memory on how to do that, be sure to check out the video in the description. Everything looks good here, so I'll go ahead and hit check, and then I will hit check once more. Now the RTK port, I'm going to keep that set to data. Now down here at the bottom where it says MDOT, this is where you will select your mount point, and you've got a collection of mount points that you can select from. In some states, they don't allow you to select the mount point. They kind of automatically assign it to you. Michigan has an option where it will automatically connect to the nearest mount point, so I just set it to nearest for convenience. All right, everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and come over to the check mark, and it's going to look for my receiver.
Setup completed successfully.
All right, and the setup has been completed successfully. So I'll come over to survey, and then I will select store points. All right, now our GNSS receiver is fixed and is receiving corrections from the local CORS network. Now the SurvPC interface is really easy to work with. So up at the top left, you can see that there is a little GNSS receiver and a green background around it. This basically tells you that the GNSS receiver is fixed. But if I wanted to block the signal with my hand,
autonomous,
you can see now that the GPS is in a autonomous state and it has turned yellow. I take my hand away,
float, fixed,
and now the system is fixed. Let's take it back up to 2 meters. Now over here on the right side, you can see there are some circular illustrations with an exclamation point. That would be the built-in IMU needing to be initialized. In order to initialize this, it's just simply swinging the GNSS receiver around like this and moving back and forth until you see a green symbol on the right side indicating that the IMU has been initialized and the tilt compensation has started. Now down at the bottom left here, this is where you would input your point numbers. In the center, you would put your descriptions. So depending on what kind of feature you're measuring, you would identify that feature description at the bottom, and on the right side is the pole height. So we can start with the pole height here. I know that this is 2 meters, so I could just say 2 m, and the SurvPC software will automatically change that over to international feet for me, and that way I don't have to have any kind of rounding errors, which just keeps me as accurate as possible. Now, tilt compensation has become a very popular feature found in a lot of newer GNSS receivers, but most of these receivers can run between $20,000 and $30,000. However, this BRx7 also has a built-in inertial measurement unit, or IMU, which allows it to do the same tilt compensation when recording data. Having tilt compensation means now you can measure points that were difficult to measure without having a plumb rod. This can include the corners of buildings or anything that is obstructed and difficult to measure without a tilted pole. The BRx7 also uses a digital sensor and compass, which means it's unaffected by nearby magnetic interference like steel buildings or vehicles. Now, I'd like to test how accurate the tilt compensation on this BRx7 is. Carlson claims that we can go up to 60 degrees in tilt compensation, although I wouldn't recommend going anywhere past 30 to 40 degrees. But nonetheless, I'm going to start by taking an initial position here while plumbing my rod. Here we go. So our rod is plumb and the bubble is in the center. And I'm going to press the S on the right here to store a point. All right, and a point has been stored. Now, without moving the rod, I'm just simply going to tilt it a little bit like this, not too much. And I'm going to measure the same position. Here we go, and store. All right, and I'm gonna go just a little bit more. Now, this is getting a little extreme, but nonetheless, let's see how well it performs, and store. And now I've gone a little bit further, but now the system is telling me that I've gone past my limiter, and I think I set the limiter to like 40 degrees. So I'm pretty happy with what I've captured. Now let's take a look at those points and see how close those coordinates are to each other. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the store survey menu, come over to file and select points. And if we take a look at the northing of all of these points, we see that there is discrepancy of about 5/100ths of a foot. In the easting, we are, wow, roughly 2/100ths. Yeah, it looks like 2/100ths of a foot. Not bad, I'll take 200. And then in the elevation, we have some discrepancies. I would say about 1/100th of a foot. So 5/100ths in the northing, 2/100ths in the easting, and about 100th in the elevation. That's not bad considering this is a GNSS receiver and it already has its own ambiguities. So to also add in tilt compensation and still maintain the same level of accuracy is really, really impressive and very useful as a surveyor. Now I want to show you just how easy it is to survey using SurvPC with the BRx7. I'm going to be surveying this little bit of sidewalk. There's a fire hydrant, a bench, and a trash bin right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start capturing data. I'll start over here and I'm gonna change my point number to 0.101. Okay, and this right here, I'm going to name it A for asphalt. Now this is a asphalt line, so I will call it asphalt 1. And in the future, I will make a video explaining how to process data, but ultimately you want to make sure you collect the data in a way so that Carlson's CAD software has the ability to go from field to finish and provide you with proper line work. A1, I like this. I don't have to hold the rod plumb because I have tilt compensation, and I'll just go ahead and store. Perfect. I'll come down here a little bit. We'll hold the rod here. Again, don't need to hold it plumb, and store. Now I've got a bin right here, so I'm going to change the code to bin. Okay. And I'll go ahead and stick my rod in here, and now I can actually store. And there we go. We've stored our point. Very nice. Let's continue on here. I'm going to take another A1 shot. Store. Very nice. I've got a tree right here. Again, I don't want to get super close because of the branches. Looks like this is a 6-inch deciduous tree. All right, I'm going to come to the base. There we go. That looks good. We're fixed. Let's take a measurement. There we go. The point is stored. Okay. And we'll come over here right in front of this bench. I'm going to take another asphalt shot. So A1, this bench, and that can be tilted, and we'll save. Perfect. I'm gonna do one last asphalt shot right here. This will be A1 and store. Perfect. Coming over to the other side now, this is a new asphalt line, so I'm going to call this asphalt 2, okay? And store. Perfect. Now this fire hydrant is a great example of a multi-code point. I want to identify this as a fire hydrant, but I also want to put a benchmark on the top where the arrow is. So in the code list here, I'm going to call this HYD for fire hydrant. I'll also put a space and put BM for benchmark. And again, with tilt compensation, I can just put my rod right on the arrow. I don't need to worry about being plumb. And now I can just hit store. And there we go, we've stored the position of the hydrant and gotten the elevation of the benchmark. Now I don't have many features left here. I'm just gonna take some asphalt shots just to complement the opposite side. So this will be A2, store, pick up. Here's another one, A2. All right, A2, All right, there we go. We've now surveyed this entire sidewalk with all of the features on the Carlson BRx7 GNSS receiver. If you guys want to learn more about the Carlson BRx7 or the SurvPC software, check out the link in the description and make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel to learn more about this great system. Special thanks to Carlson for sponsoring this video. And if you want to learn more about how GNSS and GPS systems work, then make sure you guys check out this video right here.